Joe. Yes. Any questions on this resignation? She just didn't turn in her contract.
Yeah. So we contacted her then after not turning in her contract, and she notified us that she didn't plan to return. So there's no penalty for it, but just we need to, the job is posted. And right now, we have a vacancy on the 7th grade team, the way we restructure.
So that was gonna be my question, what did she teach?
She's an 8th grade teacher, and we are moving one of our 7th grade teachers up to be on that team. I think she's a good fit for it. And then we're trying to find a new partner for the 7th grade team.
Any questions on this resignation? Dave?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 181905, approval of fuel bid. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Norm, second by Joe.
We got one bid.
Yeah.
Didn't
Been that way for how
Did
long?
they ask for it, or did they, do you know, did he?
It was sent out, and Deanna was able to confirm that 2 different companies here in the area did contact us, but they still didn't submit.
Okay.
I don't know if they were in the area. One was petroleum something or other.
Any questions on this fuel bid?
How's it working out with okay?
The bus drivers are fighting over buses, so that's a good thing, they like it.
Were any kinks at first or anything? I don't think.
Fueling was the issue, the nozzle, they had to learn what to use and how to put it together. And they come for the training and everything, but nothing ever goes easy.
Have you seen the equipment? I'll bring up, I have a picture of it, I'll bring it at the, I'll put it at the next board meeting, just so you see it, or I'll just email it to you.
Okay.
Nothing went easy.
Any other questions?
It was the first private one set up for a school district, so that, if you know what I mean.
Norm?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 181906, approval of purchase, pole vault pit. Norm, second by? Second. Joe. Joel?
Yeah, so at the end of our fiscal year, the athletic budget was in pretty strong shape, thanks in part to an awful spring weather season that caused us to cancel a lot of games and not have to pay officials and entry fees for tournaments and things of that sort. We also ended up without enough kids to field a JV soccer team, so we saved some money on officials for all those games and so on and so forth. So with that, with the balance that was left in there, we were trying to figure out a good way to tackle a need that we don't otherwise have the luxury to be able to tackle. And we were at a point where our pole vault pit was in need of some repair. The top landing pad was all but disintegrated and needed to be replaced. And the cost of that was near $5,000 alone. And when we looked at that cost and looked at the condition of our current pit, we decided that that was something that made sense to look to replace. So we went out, we followed the bid process, we garnered 3 bids from vendors that we typically work with, including Athletic Directors Edge, BSN, and MF. In the end, I'm recommending the purchase of the pit from MF. It is not the least expensive quote, but I think it's the quote that offers the best value. One advantage is that our current pit is an MF pit. In fact, it's identical, although a newer model, identical to the one that we're purchasing. So we don't have to purchase new pads to go around the standards because the ones we have are in good shape and they fit this existing pit. The other thing that this pit offered was that it's 2 feet longer than the other pits that we were able to garner quotes on. And in addition, if you can envision running up to the pole vault, the front edge of the pad is always the area that's the most critical, because the kids will get up in the air, and it's either over or back, right? Over or sideways. And this particular pit offers the greatest degree of padding up front. It has wings that come off to the side, so the kids go left or right. There's a soft landing surface for them there as well. So it was about $600 more than the quote we received from BSN. But because of the items I mentioned, I think it's the better value and in the long term the best purchase for us. So that's the one that I would recommend is, and I want to make sure that your packet includes the most up-to-date bid. After receiving all these bids, I called MF and said, hey, we're interested in your pit, but we've got another bid that's less. I'm wondering if that's your best offer, if there's anything you can do with the price on that. And they did knock $300 off their original quote, so the quote should be for $16,085. I don't know if that they made it into your packet, because the one that the original one was for $16,385. So it's for $16,085.
Do you know how old the older one is?
About 20 years. I don't know the exact age, but Bob Berry said it's about 20.
Where is that stored in the shed?
Stored in the garage down by the bus garage area, in that external garage.
That's taken out then during winter, removed and.
Oh, that's where we have to store it. That's where it's stored.
I mean, without, still on the track area.
Actually, it's only out on the track during the season.
Okay.
It may stay out, it stayed out a little bit longer in the summer this year because he ran a camp. And it actually is more wear and tear on that unit to haul it in and out than it is just to leave it set out with the cover on it. So it may be out for a little bit yet till his camp is over, and then it gets put away until next spring.
I didn't know what to see. It's been a long time since I cold melted.
The high jump pit actually goes in and out nightly.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Joel? Lauren?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
So that's all went on in this year's budget. Yeah.
It's supposed to be, we want to code it to it, correct?
And then, this is an appropriate time, I just wanted to share one quick thing with you.
Sure.
From the athletic director's perspective, and I just ask you to take one and pass it along, please. I just wanted to share with you, I keep track of participation rates in all of our athletic programs, and I wanted to share the data from this year and use it as for comparative purposes. No, it should be front and back.
Oh, okay.
Well, you got
Take
it.
that.
You maybe got the original,
Somebody's got an
sorry.
original.
Here,
You're good now.
Oh, okay.
there you go, you got them both.
You can do it. You got it.
No, he's got it done. Let me see.
Got it on the back? Oh, okay.
So you'll see a summary of the level of participation on each one of our teams back through the year 2001, 2002. So on a real positive note, total participation this year, and this would include duplicates. So if a student was out for 3 sports, they'd be counted 3 times. But total participation was 404 participants through the course of all of our activities. That is the highest level of participation that we've had since 2012, 2013. It's also the, you have to go all the way back to 2002, 2003 to find a higher level than that as well. So the one piece of information that I don't have that I wanted to put on here, I couldn't get it yet, I've asked for it, is to find out what our third Friday count is for each year. I think we all know enrollment has gone down over the course of that period of time, so I think that's a real credit to our co-curricular programs, that even though enrollment in the school has dropped, participation levels have stayed pretty strong in this past year, have been exceptionally strong. I did the math, it's a 3.6% increase in participation over last year. It's 6% better than 2 years ago, and it's 8.3% better than 3 years ago. So again, I think I've passed the credit along to our coaches and those who run those programs for providing quality opportunities for kids that kids want to gravitate to. On the back is just simply a summary of, it's a breakdown of participation this past year by the number of kids in each graduating class who are out for particular sports, as well as a summary of the total number of athletes who would have started a season but not finish it because they quit. And you can see that those numbers are really low, generally no more than 1 or 2 per sport, which isn't the case in a lot of school districts.
Have we ever kicked around the idea of kids taking 2 sports in the same season, or is that?
We've actually had it. The past couple of years, we've had athletes who were 2-sport athletes. The ones that come to mind is we had a young lady who participated in both volleyball and cross country. This past year, we had a young man who participated in both soccer and football. He was a kicker for football.
Yeah.
So he kind of could go to soccer practice every night and then kind of be present for the minimal amount of time he's needed on a football team. It is tough to do, and we do have a policy that says when kids are going to do that, it requires that they have a meeting with the 2 coaches and the parents, so that everybody's on board and on the same page about what the expectations are for, when are you going to go to practice for this, and what if there's events on the same night, which one comes first or takes precedent. So where we've had those situations, we've been able to work those out. It's worked out pretty well.
Good. All right, thank you, Joel.
You're welcome.
Any old business? Additional citizen comments? Announcements? Summertime. If not, board intends to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation data of various district administrators over which the board has jurisdiction or exercises responsibilities, and also pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent E, to deliberate on a possible sale of purchased district real estate to the city of Mayville because of competitive and bargaining reasons require a closed session. Need a motion? Norm, second by? Second. Joel? Any questions on this? No. Norm?
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 7-0.